Hey Stockhouse, it's Bruce Campbell. Today is July 15th, time for another edition of Markets in Motion. Thought this was some interesting information. Every week, Bank of America does their fund manager survey, and there's some really interesting things that have come out this week. The first is that semiconductors are the most overcrowded trade based on what the fund managers are saying. Not only that, it's historically the highest that's ever been. Previous to this, it was never 82%. So 82% think that the long semiconductor trade is still the most crowded that's out there. Keep in mind that gold was like that in February. We saw what happened with gold since then. Second thing is Fed hikes. Right now, the fund managers, 83% think that there's not going to be a Fed hike before the November midterms. And I think based on some of the Bloomberg data, that's exactly what the fund managers on Bloomberg are also thinking. And then as far as the AI bubble, they're saying that this is the biggest tail risk, that is the AI bubble. And then second is a second inflation wave. And the second inflation wave has actually dropped a little bit, which makes sense given what we've seen, the moderation in inflation, especially given what we saw with the price of oil. This is something that I talked about a couple of weeks ago. I think it's important to talk about again, and that gold, they're deeming gold to be the most undervalued that it's been since March of 2023. So a couple of years now, and it went from being the most overvalued to the most undervalued. And so anytime that happens, that sentiment shifts, it probably creates an opportunity. Is it happening right now? No, but we're going to go through this summer. We're going to see probably more certainty with interest rates and inflation, and that could be a catalyst for gold in both cases. What are we seeing from a rotation standpoint? Well, let's take a look at the most overvalued, which is semiconductors. You can see it's in this leading quadrant, and the gold stocks, which are here in the lagging quadrant. We haven't seen these gold stocks turn up. That would be what we would want to see next, is to start to see actual outperformance versus the market, and to see that momentum as well. We haven't seen that yet, but it's something to watch. So we are seeing the momentum starting to wane a little bit with the semiconductors, but we haven't seen it yet with gold. Just wanted to touch on sectors to see, is there some type of rotation happening? Where should we be looking? So I always think this is important. So let's look at month-to-date numbers. You can see here financials in the US have really performed well. And that's a sector that hadn't performed well up until now. The other sector is energy. It's having a good month here as well, and it has actually performed well year to date. And then if we look at technology, it's had strong numbers year to date, but it's weak this month. And then when we break things down by cap, you can see that really the strength still continues to be in the smaller stocks. And those stocks are off a little bit month to date. And so we're always trying to figure out if that rotation is starting to happen and where it's going to lead to next. So that's it for this week, everyone. I'm on BNN Market Call on Friday. So if you're watching, tune in and reach out with a question. Thanks.